and we don't want to waste all night because we want to take some time to give you guys a chance to talk tonight too as well. Shay's here too. But I also wanted just to open up like the chat part of it, like while we're talking, feel free to share in the chat part tonight as well, just in case we don't get around to everybody. Can you guys hear us okay, or is the wind too loud? Okay. But we wanted to get together, first of all, because we're together, and just like pour into you guys tonight, but also open it up to like what we call a vision night, which, what? Gosh. She's already making fun of me, guys. Open it up tonight for a vision night so that you guys can share your heart and kind of talk your goals out. Sometimes I think it's nerve-wracking. Sometimes it's awkward. Sometimes it's just out of the ordinary for us. We don't ever really do it sometimes. And so this is going to be a safe place. Nothing's off limits. Nothing's too big. Nothing's too small. But we want to challenge you, because if you're not being challenged, if you're not growing, and I say this all the time, and I don't mean it in a mean way, but I hope eventually it clicks for everyone, that if not, it's a waste of time, that you're wasting your energy if you're not going to fully commit to that growth game that we're pushing you to, because that's where you're really going to see that next side. So me and Shay, we've been doing, we've been hanging out, and we were joking about tonight how we're probably going to reference Stephen Furtick and Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber, because we've just been watching like a whole bunch of things and being inspired by different people who had a goal, reached it, kept going, kept striving, kept getting to that next level. And, you know, our pastor, Stephen, you know, preached on Sunday. He was talking about Peter walking on water. And even if you're not like a churchgoer, you've probably heard of like the story of Peter walking on water. And he was talking about how, you know, Jesus looked at him, grabbed his hand when he started to sink and said, "Oh, ye of little faith." And Peter was straight walking on water at that moment. Like, it wasn't that he was not doing anything. He was being bold and daring. And, you know, he even said he was literally, how did he say it? He was like transcending like laws of buoyancy at that moment. And God said, "Oh, ye of little faith." And he didn't mention the ones in the back of the boat that didn't even get out or even try to make that move. And it just shows me that God has big plans for us. And even when we think we're doing bold and daring moves, God's like, "That's nothing, sis. I got more for you. I've got so much bigger going for you. This is little steps. These are little goals. These are little dreams." And so we want you to kind of get to that next level. What pushes you to be even more daring? I don't want God to look at me after I did something and say, "Oh, you of little faith." You know what I mean? Like, you weren't bold enough just to dare to dream a little bit bigger for your family. Didn't you know that you had unlimited ability, you know, stuck to your name? And so like, I don't want to like miss out on half my life because I was too scared. So, we want just to kind of break down those walls tonight. I know Shay was mentioning earlier, I don't know if you want to take over, but this part is, just like, sometimes it's easy to say, I want a mansion and a Lamborghini, and you know what I mean? Like these big, weird, crazy, so far-fetched dreams that sometimes it sounds cute and sexy and fun to say out loud, but they're not really like what we're going to achieve this year, maybe. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but like, we want you to get like real and raw. And I was telling Shay, and I've told you guys this before, you know, Stacy on our last vision night said, "I want to go 4K. I want to go to 12K. I want to do these things, but I know that I can't get to that until I build my confidence." Like, those weren't, I'm not even going to look at 4K and 12K right now, because I know I have something before that I need to work on as my main goal. And she said that last year's vision, was it last year or the beginning of this year? She said,
last year's been a year, huh?
Well, it feels like it's been a year with 2020 already, but she said, "I want bigger things. I'm not saying that this is my last resort. This is my first step. My first step is confidence, because that confidence is going to bring me to 4K and 12K and bringing my husband home and all of those different things. And so she started working on her confidence, but she didn't just say, I want to work on my confidence. She developed a roadmap on what that looked like. That meant going live a little bit more. That meant stop caring about what people thought about her joining a network marketing business. That meant so many different things for her. And so Shay was going to touch on that, right? About like the roadmap.
I think that a lot of times it's like you said, it's very easy to be like, I want to go 12K or I want to hit that next rank. But what does that actually even mean? And like, what does that actually look like? And, you know, I was telling Jessica today, like when I first started this business, I was kind of forced into a position where I had no other option. And it was really hard. It was really uncomfortable, but it wasn't, I have to be 12K. It was, I have to make this on this week. I have to bring in this money, this income in order to provide for my family. And something that I did was I kind of took the rank out of it, but like scaled it back down to a weekly goal, a daily goal. And that's why like I've been posting those trackers in there, because it's honestly something that helped me remember like what I need to do on a daily basis. And it's like, one of my favorite books is You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. I've mentioned it so many times because it really resonates with me, but it helped open my eyes so much to, you can't just say, I want $1 million. I want to be a six-figure earner. You have to say, where is this money going? What does that money look like? When do I get that money on a weekly? What can I do with that money? What's happening? You've got to break it down so that it's tangible for you. You know, just saying I want to be a six-figure earner is almost like you can't even touch that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a big deal. That's a huge goal. That's really like far out there, especially if you're just starting this business. It is not impossible, but it is a far-fetched thing, right? So like a lot of times, like I kind of am doing this whole thing for even myself, seeing that like on my phone I have I am 200K, but like what does that mean, Shay? Like what does that look like? Break that down. Okay, yeah, you have it on your phone, but like what do you have to do on a daily basis to reach for that? What does that look like?
And can I interject? And why? Why 200K? Like, would it just be to say I hit 200K, or what would 200K do for
my
family? Yeah.
And for me, over these last few months, I've really got into the core of that and seeing the bigger picture of a 200K leader. What does that look like? Like a 200K team? What does that feel like? What does that mean? Why do I want that? You know what I'm saying? So I think that tonight, I really think details matter. Details will take you to that next level. Details are going to bring actual movement in your daily life, in your daily goals, but also as a business. You know, all of you that are on here, you joined the business because not only just for the products, but for the financial aspect of it. So if you're not making a check every week, you know, Jess and I were saying that if we're winning, but our team isn't winning, what does that actually mean? It doesn't mean anything if we have 200K next to our name. But the reality is going 200K for us, you know, means that we have so many of you, if not every one of you, winning. You know what I'm saying? So growing, seeing your checks go up, seeing your customer base go up, seeing your promoters growing and duplicating and going on and things like that. So I think tonight, you know, I'll even start, like for me, you know, it seems like every year I go up in a rank and I like that because that means that I feel like in my mind, we're doing it right. We're not doing it quick. We're not doing it fast, but we're doing it strong and growing, you know, in such a way where it's not like, hey, I hit 40K and then the next month I go down completely, right? I'm not into that. I want a sustainable business. I want residual income for me and the people on my team. So, gosh, there's so many flies out here. So for me personally, I mentioned this in a live I did not too long ago about, thinking bigger than what I've gotten to before, and, goals that I have right now and what that looks like. And, our next goal is to be a full-time family and bring my husband home. And right now we're in that transition. And what does that look like for me? It means I have to pick up. I have to pick up where I left off. I have to be able to pick up the pace. Austin and I have had multiple conversations of what working this business together looks like, if it's possible, which we both believe it is. We know that plenty of families are able to eventually, grow in such a way where they both get to be home and working this business together. So that's crazy and that's scary, because we know it's a highs and lows. You don't know if it's consistent. You don't know what that looks like. But for us, it means that we have to hustle hard. We have to grind. We have to help our team. We have to duplicate. We have to show up, even when we're tired, even when we're busy, even when, we've got 3 kids at home now, and it's not ideal for us to be constantly working. But I know that right now, that's going to bring us to the next level. And so, hopefully bringing us to the top as a collective team, and then, becoming a full-time family. I want my husband home with me. I don't want him at FedEx Freight working overnights while I'm home with the boys by myself. I don't want that anymore. It's what's gotten us from A to B, but we're ready for C. And I want my husband home. I want to create long lasting memories with my family, my children. And I want to be able to show others what that looks like, what is possible. And I believe that that's what we're given this opportunity for. It's not just for us. It's to show another woman, hey, there's options, babe. There's opportunity here that you can have what you want. You can have what you want and have it more, abundantly more. And I never thought that I would be sitting here having this conversation with our team. I look at my timeline, my time hop or whatever it's called. And last year I was posting, and we had 2 years ago, we had 79 people on our team, and now we're almost to 1,000. And I'm like, how did that happen? It's crazy to me, but you just never know the bigger picture. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You never know what that bigger picture is going to look like until you realize what the daily goal is, and dreaming that way, dreaming in a detailed way, envisioning a weekly goal, envisioning what you need to do to get to that. Because if you don't hold yourself to that standard, that growth is just going to slip out. It's going to fall off, and you're going to find yourself, being lax about it, not really caring. And for me, there was no other option. I remember, and I've said this on a couple of Zooms, it was just the one week that I remember we had to have rent. I needed rent money. I needed a $700 paycheck, guys. As a 12K, that's killer, right? That's a good amount of check. I needed that. I worked my tail off, and I remember it was $749 that I made between me and Austin's accounts, and I was 12K. But I knew that that's what I needed as a, as a business owner, and I had to do that within the week. And so I worked really, really hard, but I did not give myself another option. And when we are talking about dreaming and dreaming big, we're talking about not giving yourself another option. We're talking about pushing yourself to such an extent, holding yourself accountable to such a way that you reach those goals. It's just has to happen, right? And so,
can I say something off that too?
Absolutely.
Is having a dream that doesn't have a back door. If you only want 12K, but if you don't hit it, you still are making it, then what's the point of having a 12K? You know what I mean? I think when Shay references that, it wasn't that it was just like, oh, I worked hard and I got a really cool thing. It was, she had no plan B. And so she had to show up for plan A at a level that sometimes we don't push ourselves to because we have plan B just lined up. If you have a back door to your dream, then guess what? You don't fail and you don't care and you don't commit.
Yeah, Jen Sincero says that if you have a plan B, you didn't actually make a decision.
Yeah, and it's really true because I think that when you know that there's no other option for this, then, and maybe that's why too tonight, I want you to kind of get past those barriers. I don't want you to say fluffy, stupid dreams, okay?
Fluffy stupid.
I want you to say, that was me in the beginning when I started this. I wanted to feed my kids something else besides ramen. And this was my only chance of doing that. So unless someone was giving me groceries, I could not afford to fill a cart of groceries up.
Yeah.
So I had to make this work. There's no plan B option involved. When you have no plan B option involved, you grow when you need to grow. You hustle when you need to hustle. You keep going when you need to keep going. You show up daily. You don't give into the drama. You don't give into all the world's problems. You don't give into all of the circumstances crashing down on you. You think that for 2 years, me and Shay haven't gone through shit? Oops, sorry guys. We have. There are so many phone calls between us crying. How am I going to make it? How am I going to do it? How are we going to get through this? How are we going to this? No, but we kept doing it because we didn't have a plan B. This is plan A. And so when you say a dream like, I want to bring my husband home, guess what? That can't fail, because if it fails, guess what? They're both going back to work. How fun would that be? That would be throwing it all away. So there's no plan B to that. And so, tonight, I want you guys to start talking. I want you to just like unmute yourself and start and let us go around, because you guys have to speak it out. There is power in vocalizing what your dream is.
And writing it down.
And not just like a cute little Post-it note that says, I'm going to be 200K. No, I'm not going to be this person anymore because I have to be this girl now. And what is that girl?
And
what does it look like? What are you going to work for? How are you going to get there? We can't just hide behind cute little before and afters or glow ups or cute little business terms. We got to get real with ourselves. We got to speak it out. We got to live it out. And we can't have an option out, because if you do, just get out now, because it's going to be a waste of time for you. And
it's not only a waste of time for you, it's a waste of time for your customers. It's a waste of time of people that have joined you in this business. You are wasting their time, and there's nothing beneficial in there. But you have to remember, why did you join? Why did you start? There was a reason for it. Grab that reason. That reason should be pulling you on a daily basis. You should never have to rely on someone to pull you for your why. It's yours. Like, I shouldn't have to ever be your motivation. Jess isn't my motivation. She's my encourager. She's there for my support, and we grow together and we learn from each other and we learn from this business and things like that. But she's never the reason that pulls me. My why is my family. My why is that I'm obsessed with my husband and my kids, and I don't want to spend a day away from them. I want to see their faces all day long, even when they drive me crazy. I want to be the person that is there for them and that guides them and shows them, hey, mommy's doing this for us, and now mommy and daddy are working our tails off so that we can provide for you a life that we only dreamed of, provide options, provide the fact that I can homeschool you if I want to, provide the fact that I don't have to make decisions just because I'm put in a position where I don't have a say because of financial reasons. And I know you on here can relate to that. There's a reason why we're all on this. It's because somewhere along the way, we found financial stress. We found a capping on our lives. And we're here to break that. We're going to break that mold. And that's us doing it as a collective team, as a group of women, a community. We're better together. We're stronger together. And we can hold each other's hands through this. But like, speaking this out, this is a safe place for you. This is a safe place for all of us, that we can really come together and just share our hearts, share what is our goals and where we're headed, and even why. I think that's powerful. So let's just start. If you feel
Can I
brave
go?
enough and bold enough, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, my kids are acting up, so I want to do it before. So I had written out kind of like my goals, right? And can you hear me okay?
Mhm.
Okay. I wrote out my goals, so I'll read those quickly because my end vision is different.
Yeah.
And I was just like, be present, be disciplined with a time frame, purposeful lives, thought out and actually do them, not just think of all these lives I'm going to do and not do them. Make sure I'm educating myself on my products in the actual business side. And I want to prepare my posts every night before. So those were like my goals, right? Just pretty typical business answers. And I was like, I need real changes for myself as I grow. I need to get real with my life and what I'm sharing, not repetition, like get going. Like you have to just, not basic things to say, but like,
yeah.
right, like real things. Like I've gone through some really crazy crap and I have to actually share it, not just repeat the same things. So that's what I had wrote for that. But I was writing my vision and I was like, what is my like we want a homestead. Like I want to have a homestead with him. We want to have like a simpler life, but to do that, we have to have money to start it. And it's like when you were talking about you needed $700 for rent, it's like, I was just thinking, I was like, I treat this like a hobby.
Yeah.
It's not a business. It's not even like a business, but not like this is our resort. This is the last resort for us to have to help put, cause like the job is going to bring in, it's going to do a little bit of savings. It's going to cover our bills and rent our jobs. But to start what we want to do for our family, to build our family, to build the life we want and residual, like we have to actually have a plan. We have to be able to put that money aside. And that's, I can say I want it all day, but if I treat this like a hobby, which I do, like I've really probably just the last couple of weeks, right before August, I was really like, I don't have good paychecks. And I'm like, it's because I do the bare minimum. I was doing like showing up, doing my stories, things like that. And it was like, I want real change. Like the customers I have that come back every single month, those are people that trust me. They're the people that have built relationships with me that trust me and they know that change. And I'm like, those are people who genuinely know me. So if I'm not showing that to other people besides just these ones that are already customers, then other people can't have their lives changed by the things I've gone through, because it's just like, which is awesome that I have those customers, but you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that
Absolutely.
that was my thing with like, for this, like going up from here, it's like, I talk about I need to do lives more, but I've got to do it. Like I actually have to, because that is for me in like my business, what I've done, that is what people see. Like when I do a live, they see me with my kids, they see me doing crap around the house, like running around, and they trust it. Like they trust, like, okay, she's really going through this. Like a lot of them know my story, but they have to see it in order to trust it,
Mm-hmm.
That's mine. I'm going to mute it just in case they come in, but that's what.
That was great. Thank
Love
you.
that. Commitment. Absolutely love it. Who wants to go next?
Just unmute yourself and start talking.
I'll go.
Okay. Hi.
So being new and doing all of this, I finally got a little bit out of my comfort zone and started being able to do more talking through products and going through that. I also hit a lot of bumps along the way. I got customers, but then over at a lot of my customers have been laid off of work, so they stopped all of their stuff and now trying to get new customers and getting out of my comfort zone, because I'm not gonna lie, watching all of you, some of you guys make it just seem so easy, and stumbling on those words and trying to make everything. I'm finally got over that fear. So I feel like just for me to get to just 4K, I think is going to be like, I'm going to be jumping with joy, doing the happy dance, just doing that. And, when I did get a new customer over the weekend, it was so exciting because I was like, oh, I got over that little hump. And, then I got And I also enjoy your lives or your, your videos, your lives, you're talking about it. And I have my daughter always wanting to be in it. And I've like accepted that, because at first I was like, she kept throwing me off and I'm stumbling for words. So a little bit of encouragement there, but I think just doing baby steps to reach my goals instead of putting so much, like looking at everybody's, I finally have realized like just taking a little bit of it and just digesting it for myself and then putting it out in my own words, that has become so much easier for me. So my goals, I've had to scale down to little baby steps to reach to where I want to go.
That's awesome. I love that. Thank you so much. Who's next?
Can you guys hear me?
What'd you say?
Can you hear me?
I can kind of hear you. Can you talk up just a little more?
Hold on, I have headphones.
Oh, okay.
Let me try those. They always get tangled.
I'm going to say something really quick while she's putting her headphones in. But one thing that like the message said too about Peter walking on water is that like if you've followed the Bible study before, like the story, we know that he got out of the boat, he started walking on water, and then he started to doubt, and that's when he started to sink. And then immediately God grabbed his hand, and that's when he said, "Oh, ye of little faith." And the message that he preached on this week said, like, if you dissect that up, he had walked pretty far because he had to be close enough for God to catch him. And so like going off what she just said too is like she's taking her mistakes and using that as her stepping stones, like how she said it used to throw me off, or I used to compare, or I used to this. That to me is like growth, because Peter, like, so Pastor goes on to say it's okay to fall. You have a good catcher. Like you have to be okay to fall. And that's one thing that I like that she said in the last one, because your mistakes are going to set you up for your next goal. You know what I mean? Like when we didn't hit those goals, that pushed us further. So I don't know, I just like kind of like
You learned from it. You gave yourself grace from it too, and
and developed your routine. Like she said, I used to get thrown off with my daughter. Now I've accepted that and included it and made that more of my brand. So it's like you're taking what's working against you, and instead of using it as an excuse, you used it for your fuel. And that's really going to bring you to that next level. So
and it really is so true, because it becomes so relatable. I used to get so mad at my kids. They always acted up when I was on a live, and I was just like so annoyed. And even just said, you hear them more than anybody does on the thing. Like you're more distracted than any of us, and like it's part of your life and it's beautiful. So like you gotta just kind of own it, and that's what we did. And well, I haven't been live in a long time, but
we will be soon. All right, Jamie, she ready? See if
Hi,
that sounds
can
better.
you hear me?
Oh, I still having a hard time hearing you. Oh, maybe our volume's down.
all right, go again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have like a whole like 21 things of goals. 'Cause I like to reach like I have high standards for myself. When I first started this company, I got very discouraged because I saw everyone was like a mom, or they like husband, or like a family to support. And
Right.
like, I'm just a college student. I'm by myself, but I live with my parents. But the main thing I want to do is I want to give back to them. I want to help give my parents out of debt. I want to help give back to my grandparents. If that's buying dinner for them one day a week, like start small and then get bigger. They used to take me on cruises every year, and I want to be able to do that for them.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I honestly, I always say, like, I wish I had found this business when I was in college. Like, first of all, for the products, because college life, right? What I wouldn't give for capsules back then, but also what that would have done for me being that young and starting off and having a business like that. There's just so much you could do, and
being so young. So that's,
And how you flip the script. Like you said something that stuck out to me. You said, I'm just a college student. No, you're not just a college student. You're a woman who has a passion and a goal to do better with their life. And this is the avenue that you chose. And so often we can get that little, is it an adjective? No. You're the college student. Help me out. Like, what's just? I am just. An adverb. Yeah, like whatever that is, like we can get caught up on that and limit ourselves and belittle ourselves from that. There's plenty of us that say, well, we're just a mom. How can we do this? We're just a mom. Like we're just a homekeeper or a wife or whatever. So it's like, don't let that limit you. Take that out and say, I am a college student and I found a way to stream extra income or multiple streams of income at an early age. I'm going to change my life with this. Because you don't have to have the kids or the family or a lot. That actually, like she said, sometimes makes it even harder. So we can't limit ourselves with our perspective of who we are.
because you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to be so inspired by your story, by your why, by what you're doing, and being so young and being so wise about, starting a business and having a supplemental income, and who knows where that can lead you to full time, and being able to do so much with that. So that's awesome. Thank you. Okay. I think Ashley said we have 10 minutes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I called you Jamie. I read the screen wrong.
We have 6 minutes now.
Okay, thank you, Ashley.
All right. So we probably could do like one or two more if someone wants to go next. If not, throw them in the chat really quick so we can be reading them.
Throw them up.
Who's next?
I'll go.
All right.
There she is.
So I don't want to go into too much because then I won't be able to talk about it on my Zoom next week. But I don't even know where to start other than I scaled back my God, I got so emotional. I'm a crier like my grandma. Sorry, it's just like part of it. But okay, so I realized in the last couple months that I had so many unresolved issues to deal with before I could even think about Thrive. And I was so caught up in like, oh my God, that happened to me. And oh my God. And not realizing what I was really asking for, which was to help people, which is all I've gotten. So one, I've learned that I need to ask for really what I want, not just to help people. And two, that I had to get to a certain level before I could develop, which is where I'm at now. So it's almost like I'm starting from scratch, but I'm starting to develop who I am because I found her. So when Shay asked me way back when, let me get emotional. What are your 5 things? I had no idea because I really didn't. I will tell you a little bit more about my story next week, but I've always had to be somebody else or do something for someone else. So I had no idea. So now that I found her, I just feel like, oh my God, like a light bulb went on, like, whoa. So now I feel like I will be able to develop more to be able to even lead just a 4K team. The whole hitting 12K and all that was just amazing, but I was so focused on why wasn't that happening instead of paying attention to what was happening and all the good things that were happening. So I stopped worrying about what wasn't happening and I'm paying attention to what is happening. And my growth and where I'm at to be able to lead that. I was nowhere near. I mean, the day my sister heard me on the live was the day I decided to do it. I had no idea what the heck Thrive was all about because I was so ornery with Kristen and said, I'm not selling nothing. So, and I always say that, but I did do that. And there's a whole reason why I did that was because of the other MLM. But I was so not prepared. I had no idea what an MLM was. I had no idea any of it. But I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to give up. I am going to figure it out. If it takes me 20 years, God forbid, I hope it doesn't. But if it takes me that long to figure this out, like I will figure it out. I will walk across that stage one day. I just can't tell you when, but I can tell you that I will. So I was so worried about what am I doing wrong? I must not be doing anything right. No, I just wasn't developed yet. I wasn't doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. So I've noticed that I need to keep my phone off in the morning. I can't get on. and get caught up in what everybody else's story and what everybody else is doing. And I know we hear all this, but now it's like, oh yeah, that's what they mean. That's what Brittany meant when she said, get up an hour earlier if you're running out of time. Or turning off your phone because it's your story. You got to go write it. You not somebody else's. Not worry about what someone else is doing or not doing, or I'm not never really compared myself, but I didn't understand. I keep thinking I was doing something wrong. Like, well, this isn't happening. Well, I wasn't even developed to make that happen. So there's no way that I could get those results because I really don't even know if I'm developed yet, but I'm getting there. And that's where I'm headed. And so I feel like, oh my God, it finally went on. Sometimes it takes me a little while. I'm a single mom. I have 3 kids. I have 8 jobs. I mean, I'm going to school. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But I'm doing it. So, and I know that when Shay requested my friendship, I would have normally never accepted somebody's friendship. So I know I was supposed to do that. I know I was supposed to be brought here. And I kept asking God all the time at church and every other day, there's got to be more to life than what I'm doing, which was struggling and trying to make $1 out of 15 cents and not getting forward. Okay, so I will say I haven't had to borrow money. May not get a paycheck every week, but I'm not borrowing money to pay my rent anymore.
Right.
Thank God
That's
for
good.
things. So it's just it's a process, and you really have to trust the process. And when people would say that before, I never really understood it, but it really truly is a process of growth. And you can't fake it. You just have to go through it. And you can't give up. You cannot give up, because if you give up, I would have never found out who I am. Like, even that was like, oh my God, I know my 5 things now. So
That's awesome.
it's just, you just got to stick it out. And I know that we all have different walks of life. I could tell you some stories about my life that would make your head spin. And it's like, those are the things I had to deal with. The relationships have been healed. So many things have happened. So I started focusing on what is happening and not what isn't. And with that, I have noticed a whole lot more response, because as I'm developing little by little, response and interaction from people that I don't even know, and just different things. So it's like, okay, I'm getting this. So yeah, I was that little flower that someone bought, took home, and never really watered. But I realized that I had to water myself. I had to learn to love myself. And that was the number one thing that I had to learn through this whole thing. And I did it. And as I'm loving myself, it's amazing all the blessings that are coming in and things are changing. So it does take time. My goal is to be 12K again. I will. I know I will, but it's a timing thing. It's
Justine,
just
I don't want to cut you short, but it's going to cut off.
Sorry.
Zoom is going to end, but I can't wait to hear your Zoom next week. It seems like it's going to be so exciting. I'm so happy for all of you ladies. I really hope that we can just hold each other accountable. What's being said in the chat, this is going to be recorded. We can go back in and watch this, but share this with your teams. Get your teams to be on this, because this will just evoke